Fala aí galera, aqui é Walcir Chalas do Stock. Chegamos ao 10º e último episódio do podcast do Mundo sobre Rock. Nesse esquenta para a edição de 30 anos do festival mais heavy metal do Brasil. E para esse episódio tão especial, vamos receber um convidado incrível, Mikael Åkerfeldt, vocalista do Opeth. Aliás, já vamos deixar aqui o nosso feliz aniversário para ele, que completa 51 anos nessa quinta-feira. É isso aí, happy birthday, man! Yeah! O que significa para o Opeth ser uma das bandas escolhidas para tocar no festival Monsters of Rock?
It's always great, like when I see our name next to legendary names such as that. You know, I've become very humble and like I can't believe it. And it's like I imagine myself as a child. If I would know that this is happening, and I wouldn't believe it, you know. So it's let's see, Scorpions, Priest, Europe's Queensryche, Sabotage, like great bands that we've grown up listening to. You know, all of those bands. Sabotage is my latest fascination because I never listened too much to them, and but my girlfriend actually played me a bunch of Sabotage records, which I thought were amazing. Stratovarius is also on there. Then we know it's got a Swedish keyboard player, Jens. So it'll be both like a humbling experience, and also it's great for us. Like once we're finished, we can walk off stage, grab ourselves a cold beer, and go back and watch these great bands. You know, so it's gonna be amazing, and feel very, very happy that we managed to make our way to a festival like that. You know, it's quite unbelievable, actually.
Ao longo dos anos, o som do Opeth evoluiu do death metal para um estilo mais próximo do rock progressivo. Como vocês equilibram entre se manter fiéis às suas raízes enquanto exploram novos territórios?
I don't really pay too much attention to our roots, to be honest, you know. They are there regardless if I want it or not. So I don't really have to think about those kind of things. I think that some of our fans would probably disagree and say that we have abandoned our roots, and to some extent I suppose that's true, but the kind of core of our sound from the beginning was not wasn't to attach ourselves to a specific sound or how do you say, a specific direction. It was always like the idea was always evolving. I remember from early on that we talked amongst ourselves in the an early incarnation of the band, that it would be great if we could be one of those bands who could do anything we want. Because when we did the first album, I was 19 years old, but I had already started dabbling in other genres of music than death metal music. You know, I was heavily into progressive rock. I was into singer-songwriting music. I had bought myself a couple of jazz records, a couple of fusion records, some classical music, all sorts of stuff, you know. And I felt early on it would be impossible for me to carry on being in a band if I couldn't allow myself to write music without boundaries. And who's going to set boundaries for us? I mean, nobody's in that position, of course. And in the early days, we didn't even have fans. Point thinking like, because nobody, like, we can do whatever we want. No, but like there was no references. It was just us trying to put together music that we liked. And like pretty early on, we started shifting. I mean, we did the first album is similar to the second, but then we made a shift. And then after that, we made another shift. And then later on, we made another shift, and like it always evolved. And I always liked that. I don't believe in staying true to the roots, because those roots don't really exist in the same way in our band as they do in maybe some other bands. I don't know. Our route has always been to evolve.
Vocês poderiam descrever como é o processo de criação? As letras influenciam a música ou vice-versa?
Good question. Usually I write the music first, and I'm almost hoping for the greatness of an instrumental song. Like if I have a song that's great instrumental, I know I've succeeded, so to speak. Like then I have something that I find interesting if the music works without vocals. But I love singing, and I also see the vocals as some like an additional instrument. And now we work a lot with vocal harmonies and those kind of things, which is very interesting for me. And I'm still learning about those kind of things and find it extremely interesting, actually. But usually the music would dictate the lyrics more than the other way around, actually.
A música do Opeth é inspirada por diversas influências, incluindo metal, jazz e folk. Existem outros gêneros ou artistas que já inspiraram o trabalho de vocês?
Oh, good question. I think I'm supposed to say like bands like ABBA, which certainly have influenced us a lot, or me a lot at least, you know. Bands like that, you know, pop music. I can hear a pop song and probably get influenced, but I don't pinpoint. If I write something myself and I was like, I never go, this is, I can trace my music back to this specific art. I never really think about that. So, you know, with that said, I have stolen some things a couple of times from artists that I know I nicked it from this specific artist or whatever, and tried to kind of rearrange it into my thing instead, you know. But yeah, I don't really have. I mean, it's not unexpected that I would listen to lots of 70s progressive rock, you know. But yeah, maybe like Joni Mitchell is a huge influence for me. She dabbled a lot with open tunings on her guitar, falsetto voice, her lyrics. I mean, more sensitive, personal type of lyrics which I've done. So she has been and is a huge influence for me.
Muitos dos álbuns do Opeth são conceituais. Como vocês desenvolvem a criação dessas narrativas coesas?
It doesn't have to be cohesive, really. It can be all over the place. Like for the last album, for instance, I had like a concept, a story that runs through all the songs, and that's probably my preferred way of working with lyrics because it makes it easier for me. It's really difficult for me to finish one song which is about this topic, and then I'm gonna like, okay, start with the next song. What am I gonna write about now? You know. So for that reason, many of my songs have been kind of, I don't know, ramblings about death and darkness. You know, which is, you know, I could ramble on for another 20 years just writing shit like that, because it's kind of a bottomless well of inspiration. But after a while it gets a bit, you get a bit tired of your own thoughts, you know, like your own references, like, oh, same old boring shit, you know. So every now and then I like to mix it up a little bit and create a story, and hopefully like a unique story for us, and sometimes a unique story for metal, I guess, you know, which I think I think happened with the last record. That I can't think of a record that has a band that has a record based on a testament before.
Vocês já consideraram incorporar mais músicas em sueco ou outros idiomas? Como vocês acham que o idioma afeta o impacto emocional da música de vocês?
I've done one album in Swedish. I loved it. It was super fun and interesting because the English language is so rich in comparison to the Swedish language. Like the English language has shitloads of synonyms to the same meaning, and in Sweden I might sit with one or two, so that kind of hindered me from writing these kind of mundane lyrics about death that I just spoke of. I had to kind of cleanse my head more and come up with something more of substance. Which was a big challenge, but also really, really fun. I have problems because I don't really speak I only speak Swedish and English. I did study Spanish for a while in class, and also German, but I wouldn't dabble with that. I think English language is superior because, like I said, it's got so many. It's so rich to me, and it's also a very musical language. I think it works well. It's the music I grew up with. Most of it was sung in English, so I'm probably going to stick to that.
Como vocês fazem para manter a energia sempre alta em longas turnês?
Well, I like to go on stage not knowing what's going to happen. In terms of music, I want it to be safe. I want to know what's going to happen. I want the same songs, and I want to learn all these songs until we switch. I want them to be in the backbone of the whole band. So we're not one of those bands who mix the set list like every night. We play one set list one night and the next play something completely different. I want to feel secure. But on top of that, like how I interact with the crowd or how we collectively interact with the crowd, I leave it up to the day form, so to speak. Like see what happens. I can feel before a show starts, I can feel like I don't want to do it. I don't want to go on. I don't feel like I have anything to give. So I trick myself. I go on stage pretending. I'm pretending I'm a little bit crazier, pretend I'm a little bit happier than I am, and that really works for creating genuine happiness for me. And when I, as a frontman, when I come across as engaging and happy and I'm like a little bit of a clown up there, it rubs off on the crowd and it rubs off on the rest of the band. And soon enough, we have a great show going on, and that's really what it all comes down to. Like the playing the songs is one thing. We always do our best to play the songs as good as we can, but it is, in my opinion, secondary to the interaction with the crowd. We can play the songs perfectly, but if we stand there yawning, playing the songs perfectly, nobody's going to feel it, and it's going to end up being a lukewarm reception, I think. So interacting with the crowd is key.
Como será o setlist para o Monsters e para o side show com o Sabotage?
Probably a mix of the last two tours that we've done. This is not like a special tour for us. We're there promoting our last album, so it's going to be somewhat heavier on new songs. With that said, that they're quite short, but like a mix. I don't want to say something boring, like it's not going to be something special, but I'm hoping, like, since we're still on tour for this new album, so we're gonna treat our shows in South and Latin America as a tour for the new album. So meaning some new songs, something unexpected maybe, and something super expected. Like we usually play song Deliverance. I'm fairly sure that we're going to play the song Deliverance, for instance, maybe Ghost to Perdition, those songs that we know that people like, stuff like that, but yeah, it's going to be good, but like a reflection of what we've done on the last 2 tours.
Poderia, por favor, mandar uma mensagem para os fãs do Monsters of Rock?
Hello guys, this is Mikael Åkerfeldt from the band Opeth, Stockholm, Sweden, represent. We will play at the Monsters of Rock festival in Brazil, and we are hoping for you to show up and have a good time with us and have a good time with the Priest and all these other legendary bands that are playing. We can't wait to come back to Brazil. Always had a great time. Thank you for supporting us. And we're gonna be on stage, big smiles, happy, rocking out together with you. So be there or be square.
Agradecemos muito a audiência de vocês e a Mercury Concerts que realizou esse podcast. Nos vemos nesse sábado no Monsters of Rock. Yeah!